So I'm just gonna start with a disclaimer. There you go. You see it?
Yes.
I'm just gonna start with a disclaimer first of all. So neither of us are therapists. We're not therapists. We're not counselors. We are not doctors. So everything that we talk about on this podcast is strictly our opinions from life experiences. We're literally talking from life experiences. So if there is somebody that this may be a trigger for, this might not be the podcast that you want to see. So I just want to say that just so we protect everybody's feelings. We do want it to be interactive, so if you guys want to talk or ask questions, like you definitely can ask us questions and talk to us. We open books, hey mom.
That's right.
That's right. Yep, the music was a bit loud. Turn it down. Better works. Okay. So okay, let me turn it down. Oh, turn it off. I'm gonna turn it down. Is that better, Shelby?
You shared it on my page.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I just want to put that out there that we're not doctors. And if you are struggling with sexual abuse or trauma from sexual abuse, it is best to seek help from someone who is certified. We just want to talk about our process and how we got through what is going on with us. KB said, hey. Okay, she said perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start off by introducing my mom. I've been knowing her for 36 years. When my mama had me, she called me a pig. That was her first words to me. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah, that was her first word. Are you okay? You
I'm
nervous,
okay.
girl? Calm down. This
I'm
is a safe space.
I'm okay.
It's a
I'm
safe
okay.
space.
I'm okay.
Okay, so I want to start off talking about this whole podcast is about sexual abuse, trauma, and addiction.
That's right.
And you've
We do
experienced.
recover.
We do recover. So that's what it's about. Look at you.
Is that my phone?
Yes, you. Look. See, we're trying to do something. Oh wow, you declined it.
That was Tinkle Beach.
Oh, we'll call him back.
Right.
So we're gonna talk about how we do recover. It was very important to me to have this conversation with you because you're my mom, and I've seen your growth, and I've seen. We think she's on, but I've seen how you are, how you went through your whole process. I've been a part of that, so I really wanted you to share your knowledge with other people to help heal somebody else. Okay. So let's start with our childhood. We're both gonna talk. When talking about sex as a child, were you told about sex or were you not told about sex?
I was not told.
Okay, so nobody told you like nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, would you like to talk about how you felt when the trauma happened or what happened in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, what happened was I was violated at the age, earliest I can remember is the age of 5. And what I do know is that something was different. Something was different. I always felt different. I learned what happens with my sexual trauma, it created a liar and a manipulator. Because when that happens, even though we're feeling a certain kind of way, you have to portray yourself in another kind of way.
Right.
To let, to seem normal, whatever the norm is. So what I did was I took on a fantasy childhood.
Yeah.
A fantasy childhood, if that's understandable. You learn to lie, you learn to manipulate. The abnormal became normal for me. Even though it didn't happen consistently, it happened enough to where it affected my life.
Yeah.
It affected my life. And some people from childhood on through high school and middle school, once I found out that it was not right, then it made bigger secrets for me, because what happens is with the perpetrator, you want to protect the perpetrator for whatever reason, and I think that's normal, especially if it's somebody that you trusted. So for me, it taught me not to trust. Yeah. To get you before you get me, and I morphed off into a chameleon. I could be whatever I needed to be.
I'm telling
you. At the time that I need to be that. So.
Hey Lex, hey Dahana. Dahana and Lex both have said hey.
Hey.
So going into your teen years, you said that you found out like that this was actually wrong. And that's how I felt, because when it happened to me, I didn't know that there was not. Okay, so I knew because y'all told me. But somehow I just was like, well, maybe this ain't what they was talking about, you know?
Right.
So going into your teen years, and when you found out, like, how did it make you feel?
Dirty. Unworthy. I measured my insides to other people's outsides, so I never was good enough. I was always conscious of what I wore. I wanted to cover up. I just wanted to like disappear. But if I was in a group of people, I would gravitate to the people I wanted to be like. So I pick pieces of them and create me. Because remember, at 5, you don't know who you are, and so when that happens to you, the perpetrator, what they do is they steal your identity. If I can say that. They steal your identity, because at 5, you don't know what you're going to be. What you do know is that life is fun, it's happy. And what I had to do, I had to go to therapy. Yeah. And what my therapist asked me, when was I not happy? Was it 1 year old? 2 years old? 3 years old? 4? And you go on to the years, and then you stop. And you're like, wow, at 5 years old, something happened to me. To where I was no longer happy. I wasn't happy, and I wasn't miserable, but I knew that I wasn't happy. This isn't how kids are supposed to be. You know, we're supposed to protect our children, and and you build a resentment, but you don't know what's resentment until you get older.
Right.
And
Cassie said that makes sense.
And because we don't know what resentments are. And so, like I said, you make the abnormal into your normal. But who do you tell? Because usually perpetrators says, don't tell nobody. Or, I do this because I love you. And then there you got a definition of love. Oh, love is touching. Yeah. Whether it be appropriate or inappropriate.
That's deep right there. Talk to the people too.
Whether it's appropriate.
Talk to the people.
Oh, okay, hi. So whether it's appropriate or inappropriate, once that touch comes, you don't know what to think. You can't tell your mom. You can't tell you can't tell anybody, because they say it's a secret. What I found out is secrets keep you very, very sick. Yeah. So I encourage parents to talk to your children and believe them when they tell you that something's wrong. And I learned when I was taking a class.
Hold on, that's my next question.
Okay.
Look at you, jumping ahead.
Okay.
So going into correlation with your life and mine, when did you notice a change in my behavior, and what made you think that this cycle was repeated in my life?
Okay, I was taking a class, and it was on the signs of sexual abuse and sexual trauma. I was taking a class. So as I was writing down everything they said, I was looking at you, and it was just one day I walked by your room and I saw you covering up and looking at yourself, and I always wondered why you didn't like the really cute swimming suits, and you was just over protective with your body. Yeah. And you were always, so I asked you on the way to school, and I said, what happened? And I felt really bad. I felt bad for you, but all I saw was rage. But mind you, that I am recovering from a drug addiction as well. So I went into the drugs instead of dealing with your situation. I ran from it.
Right.
I ran from it.
And then how were you introduced to drugs and alcohol?
We ain't
gotta say how, but like what time frame was you introduced
well, at 16, at 16 I drank. My first drink was at 16. Didn't like it, threw up. I laughed the whole night. The next day I was sick. Never touched another drink until I was 26.
Oh, wow.
26 years old. And that was from 16 to 26. I never drank. I experimented with marijuana. 17, high school. Didn't like that too much because it made me eat. It made me eat a lot. So after that, I can remember hanging out with people and just wanting to fit in, Yeah. And somebody told me, don't ever do this. And I don't know about you, when somebody say don't ever do that, what's so special about not doing this? And when I did it, I immediately became addicted to crack cocaine. Yeah. And that became my family. It became me. I felt different. everything worked well in life was engulfed and consumed with drugs and alcohol because I didn't have to feel. But then when I would get sober, the times I would get sober, that molestation would scratch its way to the surface. And I got to deal with it. And so can I deal with it sober? I couldn't. So guess what I did? I repeated the cycle and I went back to.
Thank you, Shelby. She said, you ladies are beautiful.
Thank you.
Cassie said, taking pieces of people's identity. I just grew out of that, by the way, a few years ago. Yeah.
Because I just really was all over the place. I didn't know what I didn't know. But what I did find out through this process is everybody plays a part in what happens to them, whether it be good or whether it be bad. The part in the sexual abuse and all that, even as a child, is we were there. That doesn't make it right that the perpetrator did what they did, but our part in it is that we were there. Some of us told, some of us didn't tell. The people that told probably was threatened more or wasn't believed. They were called a liar. And some of the groups I were in, it was the boyfriend, it was the dad, it was the brother, the nephew, the cousin. But how can you do this to our family? Because that's taboo. Black people don't do that. That happens in white homes. Well, I'm here to tell you that black people sweep stuff under the rug for the sake of family, for the sake of the church, instead of really listening to the person that it happened to.
Right.
I don't think when a child says that something happened, it might not have happened the way they said it, but something happened and it's worth looking into.
Right.
And back to, because this thing happens to us, it doesn't give us permission to destroy our lives.
Right.
Or to destroy the lives of others.
Right.
We can take it as a loss or a lesson. I took mine as a loss for many years because I kept using. And I refused to confront the perpetrator.
Right.
I refused to accept that happened to me. I would lie so much. I would lie to myself, and I would think it was a dream. And when you find out that it really wasn't a dream,
that's it right there. I thought like that the same for a long time. And I told you when I saw my abuser 2 years, I think it was 2 years ago, like I had known it happened to me forever. I talked about it. I went to therapy about it. Everybody knows. Like I went to I had to go down to a child protector. I know all of that, and all that was in my head, but at the same time, it was kind of like a dream. It was like maybe it didn't happen, you know. So when I finally,
it wasn't that bad.
I finally see my attacker, and I was like instantly, I felt like naked. I was completely dressed, and he tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "How you been?" And I felt like naked. I was just like, okay, it was like instantly true. You know what I'm saying? And then I spiraled down this downfall, whatever, and then I had to pick myself back up. But I have a question. Do you feel like there's anything that anyone could do to change what happened to either of us?
No. Because here it is. It's a fact. It happened. And we can't minimize what happened. See, there's two parts to accept. It's acknowledging that it happened and accepting that it happened. So we're not wrong. Actually, we're resilient. We're strong. We're courageous. Being able to even talk openly. If I couldn't say anything more, is to get help and get therapy.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, they say black people don't get therapy. Well, hunty, let me tell you, my therapist brought out the best in me. And also you can take your worst, that past has become my asset. Yeah. Because I can help people. I can talk to people. I've been at the top and I've been at the bottom. I hate that it happened to my daughter. I saw it. Did that make me feel less than a mother? Of course it did. You want to protect your kids at all costs. But it was never told to me. It was never told to me, girl, I'm on a podcast, honey. I got my 20 minutes of fame.
And Cassie said, it took me 3 times different ages. I learned at 9. I tried to tell my mom at 11. She thought it was a dream. What happened at 5, 9, 11, and 17 were the ages I told. And it wasn't until the age of 17 when I came with a different approach with details of the house and the people in it that she realized I actually remembered. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that because there are certain triggers. There's the smell. There's the
Yeah.
there's music. If there were steps involved, the creaking of the steps.
Yeah. I was afraid to sleep with a when what happened to me, it was a fan in the window. So I was afraid of that noise for years. Like I never slept around a fan or just the sound of the box fan. Just the sound of that box fan would just blow, like it would just scare the hell out of me. And I didn't sleep with that sound for a long time. But yeah, triggers are crazy. Like when you go through that type of stuff,
they're crazy. But there is healing.
Yeah,
there is healing, and we do recover because it happened, and it's not so embarrassing. As a matter of fact, when I talk about it, it gives me a sense of power because I've overcome what the perpetrator has done. Now you have to realize that the perpetrator is sick. Hurt people. So going into a deeper level of it, it happened to them at some point. So they transpire it on to their victims.
Right.
And they pick and choose who their victims are. It could be that one child that's really quiet, who won't tell. You got, or it's the person, because I asked my perpetrator, well, why me? Why me? They couldn't answer. They really couldn't answer. But because it happened, I could lie and manipulate, so they knew that I could transpose myself into like normal, whatever normal is.
And Lauren said, when I smell his cologne on someone else, I get sick, and it makes me look at a person differently. That's the crazy part about it. You have to work through that. You have to work through that because everybody's not the abuser. Like I had to learn that too. Like everybody's not gonna hurt you. Everybody's not gonna be that person. But one of the questions I have for you is, how did you navigate through life in addiction? And tell me briefly how you got into it. Like, how did you navigate through your life in addiction when you were getting sober?
How do I navigate through it?
How'd you get through it?
Lots of prayer, lots of treatment facilities, because prison.
Prison. That was prison.
It saved my life. I was more safe. I felt safe. I was free. They had all these programs, and eventually I took a stand against my what happened to me. I was able to open up and just tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Because if you keep out that one little detail, then that one detail will keep you sick, and it'll grow, and it'll grow, and it'll infest. So once I started peeling that onion, when you peel an onion, onions make you cry. So I cried and I cried and I wrote and I wrote. And what was wrong with me? Because my thing was, what did I do? It tainted my relationship with God, because if God was God, why did he let this happen to me?
Right.
God gives his toughest battles to the toughest soldiers for a time such as this, that I might heal somebody and help somebody, even bring them to Christ. Because without him, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would never have been able to do it. I never wanted to talk about it because I felt dirty. I was never clean enough. And I got into makeup because I thought if I looked a little different or acted a little different, then I didn't have to be her. I called her. So I don't want to be her. I want to be somebody different. I want to be like Melissa around the corner.
I felt like that too when it happened to me, and I was going through my younger years. That's why I was into acting, and I was obsessed with TV. I was like, I want to be whoever I was watching on TV. I was like, that's who I want to be, because I don't like this. Yeah,
I did the same thing.
So when I went to therapy, they were like, oh, she has multiple personalities, or she's bipolar, or she has all of this. Because you even said I would pretend to be, I would have whole different names, like in
Carmen.
Yeah, I would have whole different names and be like, well, this is the person that I am, and really embody that person. Like, it was crazy. And Lex said, I really don't do the dark because the first time I got touched or felt on was when I was younger, when I was in the dark. Oh, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Holly said the healing process was tough. I had to go through the dark moments to get through the light.
Amen.
But yeah, a lot of times, like, that was my defense mechanism, was that this ain't me, this ain't my life, I'm this person, and this is what I got going on. So when we go into your life as an addiction, did sex play a part in your addiction? How and why?
Yes, it did. For me, and I'm gonna be real transparent right here because it
Real
turned me into,
transparent.
and so it's not for the faint of heart. But sometimes what I did, I'm gonna keep it on me. I went into prostitution, and
Which is crazy because we was talking about that in the car. How people go into different.
Yeah, you could go. You could be a high achiever. You could be a drug addict. You could go into prostitution, and prostitution and drug addiction go hand in hand. Because once you don't have any money, what do? You use what you got because you remember when somebody touched you and maybe they gave you. I learned prostitution at an early age because I know if I let you do this, I'll get that. So it was a give and take. Sex for me was a business transaction. There was no love. I picked the people that I could degrade because I got them close to. I got them. I want to say close to looking like the perpetrator because I knew I could degrade them and how dare you do this to me, and I would talk about how low down they were and how could you do this and don't you know how old I am and stuff like that. So it made me feel a sense of empowerment because I had what they wanted and they were going to give me money for it.
Yeah,
I
can relate to that because I went into stripping, and stripping for me was the same way. It's like y'all can sit up here and I'm just standing here and y'all just throwing me all y'all paycheck. So it was kind of like a sense. It was like a sense of me feeling like I got one up on you now. Like I'm in control of this situation now. You know what I'm saying?
But it's those dark moments when you're at home and you're thinking about, because after it was all said and done, I still felt dirty.
Yeah.
I felt so dirty, so unclean, but the drugs helped because see, it justified. Well, if I wasn't getting high, I wouldn't be doing this, you know. But all of it plays hand in hand, and I know that 30 years of addiction, on and off, when all it was to take control of that one thing that happened. I tell my sponsees all the time, it's that one secret that keeps you sick. I don't want to know. I don't want you to know that this happened to me. I don't want you to know that I did this and I did that. Because today it's not what you call me, it's what I answer to.
Right.
Because I like to tell you that even though this happened, that didn't give me permission to destroy my life or the lives that came behind me, my children, my mom, my job. You know, that didn't give me permission to destroy all that, because really, when that happens to you, you die at that moment. If anybody can relate, you die at that moment.
Yeah.
At whatever age it happened, you die. Because they stole what you were, or what you were going to be. You know, at 5, I mean, my thing wasn't to be a liar, to be a manipulator, to be a drug addict. That stuff comes along with molestation and with trust. I mean, trust is a big thing for me. I won't trust you because the person I trusted the most did this to me, and if they can do that to me, ain't no telling what you can do to me, which gave me giving my mind permission to, hey, I'm gonna get you before you get me.
Right.
And they call people like me OG gangsters.
OG gangsters. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that you already answered that? Really, do you think your trauma was a direct correlation with your addiction?
Yes.
And then how did you start to heal?
First, I started to heal. I started to heal when I told at 33.
33?
I told at 33 years old. I was.
So what would you say? What would you say to people who say, like, why do you not tell so long? Because I waited, of course, till you asked me till I was in 7th grade, but that really wasn't that long. I mean, some years, but it wasn't that long. But
because
why do you think that people say that? Well, why you ain't tell then?
Number 1, a child's mind. Number 2, because of the threats. Number 3, because what it would do to the image.
Yeah.
And so instead of worrying about me, I was worried about what would other people think. How would this affect this? And how would it affect that? Really, it was killing me inside because you're standing there like you're all this, but yet you've done this to me. How dare you? You know what I'm saying? So I had a real issue with people of the cloth. praying, but yet this is what you do. It's not what you do when people are looking, and what are you doing when they're not looking?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and how can they keep up such an image? So I was more angry at the fact that it looked like their lives were going on good, you know, and then here I am with all this stuff inside about to explode and didn't really know how to express it without affecting other people's lives.
Right.
Their lives became more important. Why? Because in fact I thought I was unworthy. You know,
and that's what's up.
Who's gonna believe me?
What's up.
Who's gonna believe me? You're a liar anyway. You've been lying from 5 on. You know, I learned to lie. I learned to put on the face. I learned to morph into somebody different. I always wanted to be the other little girl next door. I always wanted to be. I wanted what you had because it was a lot better than what I was getting. You know. It's just, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, it's like deep-seated resentments that you don't even know you have until you work on it. You have to work. It's a lot of work, but it is doable. It's doable. My only regret is that, you know, the drugs played a part in it. And I told you all I went to prison, and that's where I was first introduced to healing. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep doing what I'm doing? Who am I? I didn't even know who I was because I picked so many people's personalities. You know, that who am I?
Right.
You know, who am I? I could tell you who I am today, but then I didn't know who I was. Who was I trying to be?
Right. What are some of the steps that you took to heal?
Telling a trusted person. Praying to the God that I didn't think cared about me. Once I got to know God, then I knew. Once I got to know God, I knew that He was the only one that could do this for me. Right. It was bigger than me. It's a saying that says no human power could relieve me of the pain that I was in. And some pain was so deep, it's cut so deep that you don't even cry. You can't even cry. You know. And some of the steps I took, I got sober. As many times, I had many attempts and many failures, but I kept getting up. I kept doing it. It was your voice I heard when you said, "Mama, just try it one more time. Just one more time." Well, who's to say that this ain't the time when you get up, you're going to stay up? Right. And I would stay up. But I would not address why. I had to get down to the crux of the problem. What really happened to me? What happened to baby Yvette?
Right.
What happened? And once I figured out what happened, then I could start to put back the pieces to my life. You know, I don't know what a normal childhood is, but my grandchildren do. You know, so what I get to do is I get to share me, the real me, with my grandchildren.
All right, let's talk about forgiveness. So how did you navigate through forgiveness from yourself and through them? Did you forgive them?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, wholeheartedly, because if I don't forgive them, then that means they're renting space in my head. I'm thinking about them all the time. They ain't thinking about me. They probably moved on.
That's what somebody told me. They're like, they are not thinking about you. Stop thinking about them. They're not thinking about you. You have to forgive everybody, and that's in every
and the hardest person to forgive is yourself.
Yeah.
And everybody's uniquely made. And forgiving yourself is loving on yourself. Get the help that you need. 1-800-HELP, you know? You know, people, you know, they just don't like therapy, but people that are licensed and trained to talk to you about your trauma. You know, you aren't what was done to you. Some people identify themselves by what was done to them. No. It's like I said, it don't give you permission to destroy your life. You know, I destroyed my life and the life of many others. How do I forgive?
And then Jalen has a question. So Jalen says, how do you forgive and genuinely forgive without just saying it in any situation?
Well, in any situation, first, I'll go back to the cross. Everybody's sins is forgiven. There's not one sin worse than the other. If I could forgive me, I could forgive you, because if there one forgiveness is going to keep me from the kingdom of God, who are you for me not to forgive? I'd rather forgive you. Now, just because I forgive you don't mean I forget or I feel some kind of way. I forgive you enough to move on, because I could stay stuck in unforgiveness, and that's a resentment within itself.
Yeah.
You know, you can say you forgive and not mean it, but why say it if you don't mean it?
Right.
You know?
I think for me, when I think about forgiveness, it's more so, like, it's literally for me. Like, I have to just let you go. And then what stood out to me when I thought about forgiveness is, like, you never really know what somebody goes through to make them the way that they are. And just because I'm not making excuses for anybody, but I know when it comes to my abuser, when I seen him, I instantly felt sorry for him. And that's how I knew that, like, I really truly forgave him, because I was just like, dang, like, you know, what happened to you to make you do that? You know what I'm saying? There had to be something that happened to you throughout your life that made you do that. I don't think any person other than, like, serial killers, let's just put that out there, that would, like, really want to hurt somebody or ruin somebody's life. There are, a very selected few people that do, but I don't think that people would just want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I forgive just because I don't really know what could have happened to them, and for me, I don't want to carry it no more. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want to carry it no more. Like, I just don't. Like, God forgives everybody, so why can't I forgive him? You know what I mean? Like, and I do stuff. I've done crazy stuff. I've done messed up stuff. We're all one. You taught me that. We're all one situation from being dead or in jail or in prison. Like, we all one situation away. Like, we can all be in a situation where we make a mistake of being like, you know what, I'm going to kill this person. You know what I'm saying? And then who are we to judge the next person for what they've done?
Because people are quick to make permanent solutions to temporary situations. We can act out in anger and shoot everybody that looks like our perpetrator, but it's so much easier to forgive, and the forgiveness is for you, not for them.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. Good job, remember?
Ooh.
All right, now we're going to talk about love.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Oh, wow. So, my mama is married. She got married last year?
October the 17th.
October 17th of last year. So, where did you meet your husband?
On my job.
Okay, and were you in sobriety?
Yes.
And was...
Yes, he was.
Okay, was he in sobriety? What do you think is a common misconception about love and addiction?
That two people can't recover and be together.
Why do people say that?
Because if one of us are having a bad day, say you work your program and I work my program, your program might have a little niche in it, mine don't. But you decide to go back out. Well, I have a choice. Do I want to go back with you for the sake of love, or do I stay sober and let you go? My mistake was... Okay,
I was going to say, tell me about the rise and fall of your relationship, and how did y'all overcome it? How did y'all rebuild what was lost?
Okay. Ooh, the rise and fall. The rise was all birds and bees and apple trees and all of that. But the fall was when one of us, and I'm going to say he, went back out. Well, I was trying to save him. Mm-hmm. And it's a saying that says you'll get high before they get sober. Well, reminds you that I thought it was me. I thought it was something about him done. And so I go to try to save him, and then I'm sitting there doing more and more and more. For 7 months, we were out there together. And it was horrible. It was horrible. But what I found out was we always kept God in what we were doing. And we knew it was wrong, and we knew it was only a matter of time. It was either shit or get off the pot. We decided to shit. So that's
right.
So what we did was we got sober together. Our sobriety date is July 26, 2015, and on that day we made a decision to get better. And we knew better. Yeah. Because we didn't put the application to the information. We both knew, because we both had been sober before.
Right.
Oh, people said it's not going to work because you're a chronic relapser. He's a chronic relapser. But I'm going to tell you what God, when two souls meet and God puts those souls together, you got to go through something to get to something. So we both knew that we went through the hard times together, better days are coming.
Yeah.
And so what we did was he went his way, I went my way. In the name of sobriety, we got sober together but apart.
Yeah.
Which means my sobriety dwells only where God dwells, and that's in my soul. So
come on, mama.
So
that's right. You better tell it. You better tell it.
So we decided to get sober, and in getting sober, that brought us. We went to church. We prayed, sitting in the living room. We do our morning meditation. We drink our coffee, but we never ever counsel each other on our situations. That's why I have a sponsor and he has a sponsor. When we argue, it's not like put a step on it, or step 1 or step 2 is fuck you, this, that, no, just like everybody else. So
that's funny.
But we go to, he go to his meetings. Yes, we would go together. But the thing is love. It's a spiritual thing. Because once we got married, and I don't care what nobody says, when you say I do, and the preacher is standing there saying da 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 whatever it is he says, and you say I do when you're holding hands, you feel an electric shock. You feel like click, that you are together and you're one. We also have a deal breaker as well. Some people call it what do they call them? Before you get married, what do they say? A prenup.
A prenup.
Which means
a spiritual sobriety prenup.
A spiritual prenup, and that means if you use or I use, we're gonna go our separate ways so that you get better. Are we gonna wait for each other? No, absolutely not. Because we went through what we went through, and you make a conscious decision to do what you do. Do you want to give up what you have? And it's not fair for putting my life on hold because you decided to do what you did, knowing where it's gonna take you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So now that you're married, has your past traumas, does that affect your marriage in any way?
No. And then how did you overcome your trauma and build a healthy relationship?
Once I started loving me, auntie.
Oh my God!
I had to love me. And first, I feel I'm all in love with me. Every lump, bump, shape, I'm in love with me. It might
how did you get there?
A therapy. Therapy and tea.
You holla, I'm in love with me. I'm in love. You said might sound conceited, but what?
It might sound conceited, but I'm convinced that ain't nothing better than me.
Ain't nothing better than me.
And nothing better than me. And that's for me, because for so long I was so low, my self-esteem was so low, I had to look up to see it.
That's wow.
That's pretty low. Pretty low.
How did you struggle with self-esteem? Was your self-esteem a direct reflection of like you just feeling like
my self-esteem was,
because you beautiful. Like I couldn't imagine, like especially you was young, honey. You was a looker.
Wasn't it?
I know,
but
that's right.
But
honey, you was out.
But with all of that, the sexual trauma made me so ugly. So all I saw was the ugly, and who knows? Does anybody know? I always thought that somebody knew. And probably somebody.
She hollering at everybody. Mommy said, "That's it, yes."
Yeah, so. But once you learn to love you and you find out who you really are, who God created you to be, honey, we are courageous, resilient, queens, queenettes.
I'm telling you. So how do you get back to those that are like you?
How do I give back?
So that's what it's about. I feel like once you healed yourself and once you just you grow and to love yourself, you always supposed to give that back. Like that's what Beyond the Shade is about for me, is giving back to women that feel like they've lost it somehow. Like giving back to those and making them feel wanted, feel sexy, feel beautiful. Like that's what Beyond the Shade was for me, and that's why I do the podcast, and that's why I talk to people, and that's why I have Beyond the Shade, is because it's not only about sex, but it's beyond that. It's what you feel on the inside, how you feel on the inside. So how do you give back to people that are like that?
Well, what I do is I work with people just like me. I'm in a profession where I work with people just like me. I've been the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs, but I'm always at a medium, so I can talk to anybody. I'm real transparent. My life is an open book. People see me, and how did you do it? How did you do it? And I done it through God's grace and mercy, because I should have been dead. I got some stories where I can tell you what. And God really showed himself. When I look back over my life, he showed himself, and the best way to honor the gift that he gave to me. It's a gift that keeps on giving. However, the person has to want it. You know,
Yeah.
for a long time, what I found out is I didn't want to be sober because I didn't like reality. You know, my delusional life was just so much better. You know, but when real meets real, whew, that's deep. When real meets real, and it's a fact-facing, fact-finding process into finding out who you are.
Yeah.
And loving who you are, because God don't make no junk. You're creative. I like Beyond the Shade because it goes beyond what you do. It goes beyond the shade. And when you go beyond the shade, you got to step into the light. Because if once you're in the shade and once you step in the light, what is the light? The truth. And what is the truth? The truth will set you free. And
that's what I'm talking about, Mama. You better tell them. I just said that's me right now after my baby. My self-esteem is driving me insane. I'm going through postpartum. Do you have any advice for her self-esteem, how to get her self-esteem back after having the baby?
I need you to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am her. And
Honey.
who is her? The queen. Adjust your crown, baby. Adjust your crown. Postpartum, just what it says. Post. After. That doesn't mean that it's going to be forever and forever. And feed yourself positive thoughts. Who were you before you had this baby? The baby is a bundle of joy.
They said, oh, Mama, you preaching. The
yeah,
baby is a bundle of joy.
The baby is a bundle of joy. Postpartum comes because we look at our bodies and people are not comfortable with their bodies. I suggest you get in like Ellie Mae says on her, would you love me naked? I love me naked, and I know that I got some things going on. But you got to love yourself naked. Give yourself positive affirmations. And number one, first and foremost, always remember that you're a queen and you're a daughter of the Most High. And so that he don't, pray. Pray. You're beautiful. Post, it will pass. It will pass, and let me know when it does.
She said, thank you, thank you. She said, this is so dope, plus a mother-daughter duo, too. This is gold. We all go through things, and y'all are seeing each other as people, not as the roles you have. You know, that's my homie.
Right.
So we're going to talk about some fun stuff. We're going to talk about sex. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not about to ask my mom all them sexual questions because I don't want to know. But I am going to ask
Inquired minds might, because I'm
I'm
I want you to look at all this.
Look at all this. Girl.
Yes, it's me.
So, do you care about telling people your age?
No.
Tell them.
First, I like them to guess.
Guess my mama's age. Don't say nothing crazy. They ain't gonna say nothing on her.
Go ahead.
But I do want to talk about sex at blank, however ever old you are, because Beyond the Shade does have to do with sex too. So we want to have a little fun too.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna tell y'all my mama's age until after. So one of the questions that I have is, does your sex drive change as you get older?
Honey, if you get you a sexy man, it's gonna change.
Oh, does it change like she said? Lex said 57. Does it change as you get older? Meaning, like, does it go down? Does your libido change when it goes up?
It goes up.
Eee, for real?
Yes.
Okay, so it goes up.
But you gotta have something to work with now. You gotta have some eye candy. I can't do it with no little ugly gorilla looking person. But I just happen. God bless me with the sexiest man alive, honey.
Oh wow!
And we keep it spicy.
We keep it spicy. So that's another question that I do have. I want to say, hold on, what I say? Is it harder to be romantic working y'all hectic schedules and then like going to meetings and you're a business owner? So like, is it hard to stay romantic in your relationship?
Well, my husband's romantic every day.
What's he do? I'm crying.
He opens car doors. He fixes my food for me. He washes. He caters to me like I'm a queen. Only because I treat him like a king. Yeah. You know, I could have a hard day's work, come home to bath water and break.
Like say, oh wow.
I can come home and have bath water and candles in the bathroom. You know, he's just a romantic at heart. Yes, the hectic schedules do kind of get in the way, but there again, whenever you have to schedule in love, it's not good because it'll wear out. So we're spontaneous. He's very spontaneous. I'm spontaneous. We like surprising each other.
Oh my God! Ew.
You know, he might come in and do a little dance.
Y'all be dancing.
Make a little love. Get down tonight.
Oh my God!
Get down tonight.
Oh my God! Okay, so how do you maintain the spark in your relationship, being y'all age? Cause y'all old. No, I'm just saying, y'all not old.
Okay, how do we remain the spark?
Yeah, how y'all keep the spark going?
It's spontaneous. What do you call it?
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. I mean, he might come out of the bathroom naked and swinging.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
He might go around the world. Yeah.
Lex said, get to the sex talk. I'm screaming. Look at Lex. Oh my God. Well, okay, so what would your husband say is the sexiest thing about you?
Honey, all of this.
Oh, what? Oh,
Do I
wow.
need to turn around again? All of this, auntie.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Because it ain't good unless it's covered up.
So what would you say is the sexiest thing about your husband?
Ooh.
Oh wow! It was the deep for me.
His personality is sexy.
Mm-hmm. He got the moves. I'm gonna say, go ahead and say it, because I'm gonna say
his
that.
Personality, his ability to dress. I love a sexy dressed man, and he can dress, and he dances, and girl, I'm talking about sex, baby. Tune in. He's just sexy all around, and sexy to me is a state of mind as well.
Yeah.
His aura, even when he's mad, he's sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like scars. He's a little burnt up, but I like scars.
Okay, Mama said he's a little burnt up. We gonna tell y'all about her husband. They call her husband. What is he called? The man that will never die. Tell him all the stuff that has happened to her husband.
He's caught himself on fire.
He caught himself on fire, so he has burns all over.
And they sexy burns.
Where he lit himself on fire. I like a good sky too.
I know.
I want to get that from you.
Put on some. I like them in Timberlands.
With scars all on them.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, so he got burnt.
He got shot.
He got shot.
He got stabbed.
He got stabbed.
Ran over by a food truck.
He got ran over by a food truck.
And he's still standing.
And he's still standing.
It ain't got nothing to do with his moves.
That's right.
I mean, he got two brand new hips. He got two brand new hips, and he can work them well. I'll tell you that.
And that's right, Mama. You better tell him. So Lex,
I don't want to tell y'all his name because y'all be looking for my man. I'm in the case.
Right. So he got burnt up. He told me the story when he was like young. I think. Did you light something?
No, he was carrying some gasoline, trying to put out, make the mosquitoes go away, and the screen door slammed and pushed it back on him. But he had a lit thing, and some gasoline.
And he went out the door, and the screen door hit him, knocked the gasoline on him, and it was already lit. So it just lit him on fire.
Yeah. Stop, drop it, roll, shit.
Okay, so then he said. So another question that I have for you is, talk about being sexy and being a girly girl. Because I know as I was growing up, I always watched you like when you got dressed for bed and all that. And I think that a lot of people think that once you get older, you kind of lose your sexy, but you still have your sexy.
Of course.
So talk about how.
I'm a Libra for one.
Girl. Libra, but bye.
And I'm married to a Scorpio. Show no shame. Shake, baby.
Oh my God. You are out of control. So, how can women stay sexy? Like, what are some of the things that you do to stay sexy for your mate?
Go to bed pretty.
Go to bed pretty.
Smell good.
Boy, Lex is gonna love that one, ain't you?
Smell good. Like I said, sex is a state of mind, you know. Walk into the room like you're the only one there. You know, make your entrance.
I will say this. One thing that I know about my mom is when she goes to bed, she sprays perfume on her every night. And one day I seen her, I'm like, why do you do that? You're going to bed.
You never know what's going down.
I'm crying. I am crying.
Did y'all get that in case you missed it? You never know what's going down.
So I'm going to tell y'all
years old.
She is 60 years old.
Is there sex after 60? My husband got me a shirt that says 60 and still sexy as hell.
I know that's right.
Yes.
So, before we get done, because we're about to finish up, I do want to say that my mom is a business owner.
Yes.
So, I want you to talk about your business for a second, what your business is and how they can reach you. Let's go on somewhere. Tell, I know that's right.
I know it. But let me tell you, I am a business owner. I have 2 businesses. I am a mobile notary for all your notary needs. Have seal, will travel. For a fee, of course.
For a fee, of course.
I also just started restoring lives from the inside out, because I believe beauty starts on the inside and it
works its way out.
It works its way out, because pretty and beauty is 2 different things to me. Beauty is something on the inside. Everybody has their natural beauty. What I do is I do total life changes. I do the detox tea. If you want to lose weight, holler at me. If you want to gain weight, holler at me. If you just want to change your lifestyle, I do the mind, body, spirit, exercise. I practice healthy eating habits. I don't believe in diets. I believe it's all in the food that you eat and how much you eat. I didn't say diet. I still like my fried chicken. I used to be a size 18, and Kanisha can tell you and attest to it that I have lost weight through my products. I don't push products. I push business. I'm a business owner. I build empires. I build people up to where they can do what I do. And it's very simple. It's very easy. Total life changes. It's called Healthy Bond. Healthy Bond, and I will give you all the information after this.
Damn, I need you. I know you ain't do all that.
Yes.
And then she's tagged on here, so if you do need anything that she just stated, you can go to her page, you can inbox her, or you can hit me up and I'll link you with her too. And then she is a sponsor. And
I sponsor women I sponsor women in addictions and in recovery. If you're serious about your life, I laugh and I joke, but I do not play about recovery. I do know that we can recover. We do recover. The program works. It works if you work it. It works if you don't work it. It just won't work for you.
Oh, wow. Well, I just want to say thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you being here. I think it was so good. I appreciate everybody watching. What you guys say? Because
I like to shout out to my daughter, who I have seen periodically. No,
oh wow!
No, who I have seen go from, I don't want to say nothing, but who can make anything she touched turn to gold. I've seen her use